I don't know if this one has gotten any attention. He literally ran the pulling offensive lineman over. Look at this. Oh my God.
Fired up. It's made a great decision.
Great teammates, coaches, and other people who want to be Super Bowl champions. And we are. We're going to do it this year.
And we're going places because we want to go places.
Touchdown, Detroit Lions!
Before long, we're going to be the last one standing.
This is the first third down for Washington in this game, and the Lions did a lot of different looks in this game, and there were probably some tendencies that Washington expected to face. But as we said last week, the Lions gave Philadelphia some problems in terms of they didn't always know who to pick up. Now, this is one of those examples. The Lions are going to show pressure, they're going to show a blitz, but they only bring 4 on this play. They drop 2 defenders into coverage. Carson Wentz thinking he's got to get the ball out quickly, but it also leads to basically a free rusher where it's linebacker on running back, and we get a sack on this play. This is Hutchinson's first sack for a 0-yard gain. Now, one thing is also new this year is Chris Board playing third down linebacker. Last year, we didn't have that. This is a guy that's specifically being used for third downs. I think, number one, they like the matchups better than maybe Malcolm Rodriguez, just because if he is one-on-one, they'd rather have that matchup. And they probably think he's a better blitzer than Alex, who is not a great blitzer, right? We've seen that. So they use Chris Board in these situations. It's just a little different thing that we have this year that we didn't have last year, kind of a little weapon piece we can utilize. And they like Chris Board's coverage. I think just his ability to match up at different spots. So Lions are showing pressure. They're showing man coverage, cover 1 across the board. You can see they're showing 5 rushers here. Now, they're not going to bring all 5. They're going to drop Charles Harris, and they're going to drop Julian Okwara kind of into the whole of the coverage here. And then you're going to bring Chris Board. You're going to see how the offensive line loses it. But a very big thing I need to emphasize here is Aleem McNeil, because the offensive lineman isn't even paying attention to Chris Board on this play. Chris Board isn't giving any kind of signs that he's going to be rushing the passer. You're seeing it on the edge. You're not seeing it in the interior. So he doesn't really have any reason maybe to believe that Chris Board is going to rush the passer. Now also, keep in mind, later in this game, we're going to see a lot of the Lions dropping these off-ball guys to underneath zone coverage, okay? And also, they're not doing a lot of man coverage on the running back either. That's another thing that they kind of exploit a little bit later in the game. So in this situation, the Lions are going to drop both their edge rushers. Chris Board's going to basically come free. Also, shout out to Aleem McNeil. His first step is explosiveness off the line to get some penetration here. Forces Wentz to basically pull this ball down. So let's take a look at it, right? Julian Okwara drops to what may be the quickest route that he has here, and he basically takes it and shuts that down. So now Carson Wentz got to work a little bit outside to Mike Hughes. That's probably a result of the free rusher basically coming through, and Chris Board, he's seeing that. He's probably thinking blitz. Maybe doesn't know that, these guys all dropped out. So he's probably thinking blitz. I got to get this ball in my hands. First place he looks, oh snap, the guy that I thought was rushing is sitting right in the way of my first option. So now, 3rd and 4, I'm looking at Mike Hughes. But here we go. Credit to Aleem McNeil getting his hand up, getting some push. Carson Wentz pulls it down. Chris Board doesn't get the sack, but he's working on the running back. And Aiden Hutchinson, of course, as we know, he just continues to work. He's going to clean this thing up with a sack. Like Will Harris here on the tight end. Carson Wentz never looks there, but look at him. Physical off the line, really no airspace whatsoever. Okuda at the top of the screen here, and no one's winning quick enough where there's going to be any kind of route, right? The quick things were taken away, and there you go. You get a sack. This one is going to be an intentional grounding on this play. I do feel like Hutchinson had an opportunity to potentially get a sack here, and I do feel like maybe this was a little bit of a tendency for the Lions that they recognized, is that it seemed like Washington wanted to come out and take shots in first down. Probably playing a little bit against the Lions' aggressiveness. So play action shots were something that we saw them try to take, and they took them later in the game, and they actually converted a few. They had to change up how they did things offensively to create some of those opportunities. But here you go. The Detroit Lions are going to bring a blitz on this play. And Deshaun Elliott, look at this. He's on Curtis Samuel now. Now he's kind of off in coverage, but he's on Curtis Samuel, and that's, to me, that looks really good. You can see where Wentz is looking, right? You get that motion over. You're thinking safety on receiver, okay. Elliott with really solid coverage. Very good coverage, actually. It's not like a complex route, but it's good coverage. The Lions don't break down. Good communication to pass this off correctly in man coverage. And I think it's also good depth between these cornerbacks so they're not running into each other. It's a great job there by Elliott. Elliott in coverage has looked good. Tracy looked really good in camp, and we're seeing that again. These guys both being able to cover right now, I think is opening up a lot of flexibility for the Lions. Looks like they're going with a little bit of a run fake here, so their offensive line plays a little bit to that. But I also think you see Tracy Walker up here. Maybe the offensive lineman's a little bit prepared for that because they end up leaving Hutchinson one-on-one at the tight end, and that is a mistake. I think Hutchinson had a shot at getting a sack here for sure. maybe playing through the tight end a little more, he probably would have had the sack, but it worked out anyways, forcing intentional grounding, and now we're in a great spot defensively. The thing that we know that the coaches credited was the defensive tackles. I wouldn't say maybe this was their best play in the game. There were some good ones that we'll take a look at. But I think one thing that's important here is that, okay, line of scrimmage at the 3. They're starting at the 3. There is really not any kind of movement that they're getting. They're not moving the defensive lineman back to the 5 or 6 yard line. They're not moving them back to the second level and pushing into the linebackers. They're not getting that movement right now. They're not getting that. So when the Lions defensive linemen penetrate, they're not pushing them back. So it's forcing the offensive linemen to kind of stick around. And then we start to talk about, well, taking on multiple gaps. We're going to see some great examples of that, how like a defensive lineman is basically playing 2 gaps at one point. But just look at the interior guys, specifically whoever is, again, where the ball's ran towards. In this case, that's Aleem McNeil. Those guys have been great in those situations. And Aleem has been that guy a lot of times where you're just not moving that player off the line. You're not moving him back. He's holding his ground. It's allowing the linebackers to get upfield. And then, of course, because of that, because there's really no push and there's no hole for them to go through, now the linebackers are getting upfield. Now Aiden Hutchinson has an opportunity because of how slow this is basically developing off the backside. Again, one-on-one with the tight end. He's gonna eat that alive, man. He's gonna eat that all up. And you have Will Harris over there because of the tight end playing as, to me, really well in terms of like forcing this back inside. We took a look at Jeff Okudah, how far he was playing off. Will Harris, look at where he's at. He's not playing off here. The only guy on his side is the running back and tight end, okay? And it turns into a run. Will Harris is not giving any kind of airspace, right, where maybe Carson could take this and run. So because of that, now Aiden Hutchinson gets to jump in the inside, jump off the line, shed immediately, and there's no movement here. So now Hutchinson is getting involved in a tackle that really doesn't go anywhere on first down. Take a quick look at this next play. This is going to be the safety that the Lions had in this game. Okay, they picked up 2 yards on that play, shot the special teams as well, like things like that. We're putting them back. They kept being pinned back in their own end zone, which was huge for us as well. It kind of dictated some things. But again, look at this pre-snap, okay? Look at Deshaun Elliott is going to be on their tight end on this play. I believe that's their tight end. I don't know. Their slot receiver, he's on the slot in this play. Deshaun Elliott is. So again, you may think you have a matchup there, but Elliott's doing well in coverage. Lions are doing the same thing. They're showing cover 1. They got, closed, middle field closed, and they're showing another cover 1 situation here. And on this play, the Lions aren't even going to bring a blitz. This time they're going to drop out. They're not going to bring the blitz on the play. It's after a short yard gain, which I think sets a lot up because now it's 2nd and 8. So you feel like you can pin your ears back possibly a little bit more. They don't have to bring the blitz on this play. And then it's about a guy like Charles Harris winning his one-on-one. He gets a one-on-one. Now in the second half, one adjustment they made is they constantly chipped. They constantly helped on Hutchinson's side. They constantly put 2-on-1. So it forced other guys to try to win. So when they're not winning, that's an issue. And they didn't always win in the second half. In this case, though, Charles Harris did win. Speed off the edge. You can see kind of the chop there. And then he's going to finish off and make this play. And he actually, if you look, he had Okudah potentially on the top here. He had his receiver on the outside, potentially open. He just didn't have enough time in the pocket to have that kind of play develop. And now look at Mike Hughes and Elliott quickly taking away their guy. You're dropping into coverage, so you're not bringing that rush. So you have guys to cover this underneath up, and he doesn't have time to get it off. There's your strip sack. Shot to Charles Harris. That was a pretty pass rush, man. That was fast. Man, he's got some speed around the edge. Let's just watch this one more time from this angle. Listen, boom, look at it jump off the edge. All right, he's got a step. Ooh. Come on, man, the chop. Get out of here, man. That's nasty. That's nasty. This is one of those plays, man, where I just got to show some love, okay? Again, Will Harris, give him a lot of love on this play. He's doing a great job where on these outside runs where they're continuing to try to attack the Lions, staying away a little bit from that defensive front, kind of softening it up a little bit. When they do this, it's putting stress on guys like Will Harris, right, to try to contain and force things back inside, battle against receivers. He's doing that. But also this play specifically, this is a -1 yard run. It's 2nd and 5. Give a lot of credit to Malcolm Rodriguez, okay? He's making plays like this happen. Think about this, okay? First off, let's take a look from this angle. Again, what did we just say in the other play? Look where Will Harris is. The only guy he's got on the side is the tight end. Doesn't have a running back on his side, so he's got to force this thing back inside. I'll let you look at it from this angle just to see what Malcolm did right there. If you didn't see, you're going to see it in a second. If you didn't see what Malcolm just did, you're going to find out. Okay, watch this play. So again, they're going to try to get to the edge on us. They were doing this a lot early in the game. Here you go. Here's your sweep. They're going to pull the offensive guard, I believe, on this play. So they're going to pull a couple of linemen, and they're going to try to get outside. But again, watch how fast Malcolm Rodriguez is getting out there. Look how fast he's keying on these plays. And then it's about taking on that lead blocker, potentially avoiding them, making a tackle, things like that. And then give credit to, again, Will Harris, who's not letting him get the corner, not letting him get the outside. That is huge as well. Okay, so lineman getting upfield. Look at Malcolm. He sees it. Now, later in the game, he ends up running into our edge rusher. This time he doesn't, though. You see he's kind of working into his gap. Then he realized where the offensive linemen are going. They're pulling outside. So he's got to kind of redirect himself. Okay, get outside. First off, look at this. Oh my, he ran the lineman over. look, I know there's a lot of clips of Malcolm doing some wild stuff. I don't know if this one has gotten any attention. He literally ran the pulling offensive lineman over. Look at this. Oh my God. Yo, what? And then, of course, it's probably better actually from this angle. This whole thing is probably better from this angle. But, of course, then Will Harris, again, containing this, forcing this back inside, doing his job, not letting these linemen get out on him, right? He sees it, get out there, force this back inside immediately, and that's what Will does. But also, at the same time, Alex Anzalone, again, he's playing clean. They're trying to get to the edge. They're not loving the idea that continuously trying to attack inside. So since they don't love that matchup, they're saying, okay, let's get to the outside on them. And I felt like we had an advantage specifically right here against this offensive line. So now we're trying to get to the edge. Well, when your defensive line is just doing that, now all of a sudden you got guys like Alex playing clean, and he can kind of just fill in behind Malcolm, who is being outstanding as like the lead linebacker. And he fills in right behind him with Will Harris doing an outstanding job. Look, Will, I know Will does it, is not perfect in coverage. My goodness, he's smart. He plays hard. He does his job, man. And here's another example of it. So we've seen a lot of this now early, right? Keep that in mind. We've seen a lot of this look early from the Detroit Lions defensively in this game. A lot of this single high safety showing a blitz. Tracy Walker here, he's going to pick up the running back, but he doesn't actually come out. So Lions are showing a blitz. And actually, I would say Mike Hughes, how well they handle this. How well they handle this, right, is outstanding. Okay, so here we go. 3-on-3. They're going to show what looks like a flat screen, basically, here. Okay, here's the flat. Both of these guys are going to, like, stalk block, like they're going to block. So you're thinking, okay, he's going to check that down. So we got to get upfield and blow this thing up. Now, remember, they're in man coverage here. So that makes a difference. It does, because this probably would have worked better against zone coverage. Probably, because they may have been more willing to jump up. Look at Okudah. He's not even looking at the quarterback. He's in man coverage. So this probably would have worked better against zone coverage, I would think. Regardless, it puts stress on our cornerbacks because now they got to be smart here. So Mike Hughes sees this. There's the fake. They're kind of showing block. Both these receivers stop blocking. So Mike Hughes dives underneath to take this away. The ball's not intended to go there. These guys are going to show block and get vertical. So now you're thinking, well, snap, there's going to be a hole here. Because if Will bites it all, it's a hole, right? Okudah's not biting. He's playing man coverage. But look at how seamless this is. Mike goes downhill, picks it up. Will Harris passes it off, gets in a good position. He lets off so he doesn't hold. And now it's a one-on-one. He got nowhere to go with the football. Nowhere to go with the ball. Lions are not fooled. The secondary is not fooled. Just smart football there from the cornerback. And guys that we trust to play this kind of... I always say Will Harris is such a smart defensive back. Show me. He just showed you right there. He just showed you right there because he was attacking, and then he had to pull off and say, hold up, let me switch this off with Mike Hughes. And then, of course, Okudah's in a pretty good spot here. I do worry a little bit at the catch point, right? He's had issues with that in the past. I always worry about him in the catch point a little bit because he's in a good position. He turns his head that way when the receiver does, but then it's over top. It always worries me a little bit, but either way, good coverage. Lions get off the field. That's outstanding. We've seen this a lot already, how the Lions are going to play out in first down. Okay, here's another example. They're going single back. The Lions are playing single high safety, a very similar look to what we've been seeing. All right, and the Lions are back again. Once again, it looks like a man coverage on this play, and you're going to see how they try to take advantage of, I think, a little bit of what we were trying to do. So what they're going to do is and it's going to freeze, is what I'm saying this, okay? This slot or tight receiver is going to go out here, so Mike Hughes is going to be forced outside, and then they're going to try to set up this little slip screen on this play. Now, they know the Lions have been blitzing as well, so I'm thinking that maybe they're thinking that, okay, we're going to pull Mike Hughes out of the play, then we're also going to, and if he motions, then we know it's man. Then if Alex Anzalone decides to blitz, okay, we're going to have this great screen set up. But just look at it from this angle because the other angle's not working, I guess. All right, look at it here. There's a lot to like. First thing, it's probably going to go under the radar. Look at Eric Banks. Mr. number 94. 94 was making plays in this game. Completely went under the radar. But look at this play. He actually did a lot of this to me because, okay, they're going to run a play action, slip screen. But through this play action, their offensive line blocking scheme, as you're going to see, they're going to pull across. So they're going to pull their right guard across. So they're really trying to sell the run. Every team does this. But what's huge is that the pull across doesn't get across, so it leaves a free lane for number 5, Deshaun Elliott, to rush and hit the quarterback because of Eric Banks' penetration. Watch this. Look at the push that he gets into the center. He pushes the center into the guard. The guard does not get enough space to cleanly get around, so now Elliott has a free rush lane through. Okay, and now they're passing it off. You see the linebackers doing their thing, right? They're passing it off. Malcolm Rodriguez saying, okay, hey, you take that gap. I'm going over here. Now look at this. He's pushing him back. The guard has not got around yet. Elliott's going to be a free rusher. Malcolm's filling here. Okay, Hughes is coming around and try to take away, this guy that's doing a little end around. But Aiden Hutchinson, smart football. Elliott's already through. Wait a minute, I see this. Let me drop out. Wentz takes a second to peek there. I don't think he ever had the intention of actually throwing it there, but Hutchinson's on it. He helps him out. He drops out, takes out. There's no reason for both of them to rush the guy. Let me help him out here because if they dump this off, we're both rushing. He may have a lot of room one-on-one with Hughes. Hutch is going to slide over. Okay, now that's not there. Then it's on Alex. Man-to-man coverage. We talked about it with screens last week. You know, these linebackers, they got to get on it quick. Well, watch Alex on this play. Again, let's go back because it's good communication. They're playing fast together. Look at the communication here between the two. Okay, watch this. Now look at what we're getting. Look at what we're getting. Because of the scheme, right? You would think the linebackers would be keying on, okay, the run is going to the left. All right, because you're getting this pull across. So look where Alex initially goes. So I can see how they're thinking this could be open. And they give him the end around look, so they're really trying to pull the linebackers out. Alex communicates with Malcolm really quickly. Everybody else does their job. Alex, look at the control, slides down the line of scrimmage, and jumps that. If he would have caught it, they would have lost yards. He's better off dropping that pass. Are you kidding me? Come on, man. First down. No yard. I mean, first and second down, the Lions are playing really well, and they're really setting themselves up on third down where it's a third and difficult every time. Third and difficult. That's what they're getting themselves into. Here's where I talk about disguising coverage. This is one where I'm sitting there for a minute like, well, what is this? Because you don't get what you see is not reality right away, right? It's kind of weird. You have to kind of see it a couple times. So on this play, this is actually a cover one from the Lions. It does not look like cover one at all. Right, you got two high safeties, middle field open. This does not look like cover one at all. But look what you're going to get. So actually, Deshaun Elliott's going to be mashed up here with the slot. Okuda's man, Will Harris's man. So this is actually a cover one play by the Lions, which you can't tell right away. Hughes' man here on the tight end, and he's got help over top with Tracy Walker. So Alex Anzalone, he's playing in the hole underneath, but actually he's going to be picking up, well, he's not even playing in the hole, I shouldn't say that. He's actually taking the running back. Mel Rodriguez is kind of your underneath zone defender. So look at it on this play. You can't really tell, but this is talking about disguising coverage, making it a little bit tougher that the quarterback's actually seeing. There's really no reason I would think to believe that, hey, this is going to be cover one. Like, nah, that's not what I'm thinking on this play. Lions bring a four-man rush. Look at the good coverage first. All right, I like this by Malcolm. Maybe it looks like Malcolm's in coverage here. Nope, Malcolm's going to carry it, push it outside, drop it off, pass it off to Elliott, who actually has that coverage, okay? And then Alex Anzalone covering underneath the running back out the backfield. But then it's the pass rush. It's the pass rush that gets home. It's the pass rush that makes the play. It's a four-man rush. Again, look at, you see this tight end here? He doesn't chip on this play. That's going to be an adjustment that they make in the second half. They're going to use him to slow down Aiden Hutchinson. But they don't chip. They're going one-on-one across the board, right? So Aiden Hutchinson goes with his bull rush, gets a little bit of push there, and then it's Charles Harris who has that nasty spin counter. That nasty spin counter that creates the sack really for Aiden Hutchinson on this play. But again, look where Carson Wentz is looking to go with the football. He's looking at this side of the field to go with the football. And I think he's probably like, okay, I don't know what the heck coverage they're in. I would be a little bit confused here trying to figure that out. And because Malcolm carries this up so far, there's not an immediate throw that he can make here. And then it's picked up by Elliott, so it's still really not there. Okay, and then you have good coverage by Okuda on the outside. So now there's a spin counter. Hutchinson continues to work around, and he ends up picking up that effort sack that we always saw him do at Michigan. But let's take a look at it from this angle. You'll love to see the pass rush again. We talk about winning one-on-ones. So here you go. Charles Harris going to try to get there with speed. But look at the spin. Oh, my gosh. Hey, Charles is creative as heck. We saw that in week one. He is creative, man. He'll throw a lot of things at you against Leno. It's a matchup he should win. He gets inside, so Wentz like, oh, let me take off outside. Nope, Hutchinson is right there for you because he doesn't give up on the play. And Hutch put his arm up. He knows. He basically got that sack. Now, here we go. So look at this. We are at 6:37, which means that this is the first play of the possession. Now, what have we seen from the Lions, right? When they show this, what are we thinking at this point? We're definitely thinking man coverage. That's what I'm thinking, right? Man, man, man. Okay, too deep. Maybe this is another one of them cover one looks. We'll see what they do on this play. Maybe they're bringing the blitz again because they could have a couple guys free. Are they trying to get Alex here and man? Nope, the Lions changed it up, right? They give you a completely different look. So it makes you think about it for a second. I think as a quarterback, Lions are going to pass this off, and they're going to jump into cover two. Both safeties are going to get outside. These two corners are going to pass this off right into a zone look, and there you go. This is a 1st and 10, so Lions want to limit it. I love watching the linebackers absolutely fly around. You see Mike Hughes underneath, and then they go out there and close, pick up 4 yards on the play. But that's a little just change up, little curveball, a little change up pitch that the Lions threw at Washington on 1st down. And now I don't think you know exactly what coverage the Lions are going to, but in this play they are going to go to a man coverage look, and they're going to get the tight end on Tracy Walker here. All right, so watch this play again. Linebackers, they just are moving really fast together. You see him pass it off. Okay, There's the movement. He's going to take this, the receiver out of the backfield. That's Curtis Samuel. Tracy Walker here is going to be on the tight end. Now look at the tight end's release on this play. I think it's a good maybe discipline by Tracy Walker to not get aggressive. But again, it gets man coverage. I don't think this is going to be there. So you kind of see how he kind of sets it up real slow paced. And also you got to give a lot of credit to John Kaminsky. He covers that up. There's nothing there. Our safeties covering like this has been huge. Our safeties covering like this has given us so much darn flexibility where now Deshaun can go deep, Tracy coming out of the box. There are no really limitations here for what we're putting on their plate. John Kaminsky's going to come off free. They're going to try to pull again, try to set up that, play action, get maybe the defensive back's eyes in the backfield. So we're thinking, hey, we might show a little, maybe even a stalk block here with the tight end. So maybe Tracy will jump and we can get over top. That's not going to happen. Tracy's disciplined. And John Kaminsky is going to be going full speed into a pulling offensive lineman. Good luck with that. It would be nice to have Kaminsky still, but it forces the ball to his hands very quickly, and there's no shot to get it off. Lines aren't even blitzing, but they win their matchup there, and he forced an incomplete pass. I feel like on this play, we're almost back a little bit to offensive tendencies for Washington, and the Lions kind of battling with that. Okay, so here what the Lions are going to do is they're showing zone pre-snap just by how everybody's lined up, eyes on the backfield, but they can obviously switch this into man coverage, but they're showing zone. Actually, let me flip it back so you can kind of see they utilize this motion. We talked about all the motion that they use coming into the week. That lived to be true. They used a lot of motion. They hit it with the reverse later. All right, so Lions are showing zone coverage at this point, as you can see, but the Lions are going to give you something that they did multiple times this game, a cover 6 look, which we know is kind of splitting cover 4, cover 2. Lions are going to do that against the 2 receiver side on this play. Now, if this is a cover 2 look with all the shots that it looks like they like to hit with the play action on first down, you would have to look here because they're going to be putting a lot of stress on this safety with 2 vertical routes. As you can see, you can't really cover both. So if this is a cover 2, you're putting a lot of stress on the safety in this play, Deshaun Elliott, where he doesn't have much of a shot. But the Lions aren't going to do that. Now, I don't know if they came out in this play or this is something that they just adjusted to. Regardless, Lions are going to jump into a cover 6 look. So you have Okudah that's going to stay on top of the route. Deshaun's going to be deep. Now you basically take the 2 shots out of the play, and over here you have a cover 2. Will's going to play underneath. See how he lets him by immediately, and then you have Tracy Walker over top. So you're kind of bracketing this in, and you have your cover 4 type of look up here. So they're not really allowing a shot play, and then they're forced to check it down again. So I feel like there's just a little bit of a chess match going on here between both coordinators, specifically in the first half, and I felt like Aaron Glenn looked a step ahead all the time in the first half. He came in with a great game plan. Great game plan. You see how the linebackers are just flying around, moving around. Now, Alex, I want to see him make this tackle. It almost like he left his feet a little too early. We've seen this. He could have had him for -1. Instead, he picks up 2 yards. It's not a lot. Shout out to Okudah getting into the play, but you want to see him make that tackle. Why the PFF grade low? Because you missed that tackle, Alex. You know how PFF do. That's probably why. This play may be a little bit more of a, I'm not sure for sure. It may be more of a cover 3 drop, I think. You can see Okudah's going to press and drop into zone coverage. That could be what this is. Elliott's going to come downhill a little bit, maybe more of a cover 4, but it looks like maybe I'm not exactly sure. Maybe a little bit of a cover 3. Regardless, they're going to hit us with a sweep that they've been hitting us with in this game, and now they're going to try a trick play out of it. But Will Harris, he's plastered. It looks like there was some communication between the safety there pre-snap, so he knew he was going to have to hang with this one-on-one, and Elliott was coming downhill, and you can see that's what it is. He's covered. I mean, Carson Wentz is basically threw it up. Tracy should have an interception right there. He just mistimed the ball completely. Should have had a pick. Regardless, though, we still got off the field in this possession. But you could see Will Harris, good job. Give credit to Will Harris, man. Give credit to him, right? I mean, they're communicating well. He's in a good spot in coverage here. Just give credit to him. There's nowhere for him to go with the football. They spend too much time on this, but it is something to keep an eye on. I don't think the Lions a lot of times were again kind of putting their off-ball linebacker. It didn't seem like a lot, specifically when it was Chris Board. Let me make that clear. It seemed like with Malcolm they would, and Alex they would, but Chris Board, now this is a 3rd down, so again, this is like the 3rd down linebacker. When he was out there, he didn't seem like many times he was really getting matched up with the running back one-on-one. So in this case, he's going to blitz. They're going to have Charles one-on-one with the tight end. That's fine here, but they come back and kind of beat us on that later in the game. Regardless, though, you can see the Lions are just bringing a crazy amount of pressure on this play. They got a free rusher, and they need so many yards that there's really no chance. Also, I like the movement skills. Dan Campbell told us today that Okudah hasn't lost anything since his injury, and I just like the movement skills from him. They're all playing the sticks. Look at him. Ooh, break down. I see you. Open up. What? That looks good. That looks good. Now, I think the Lions can get a little bit predictable, Aaron Glenn specifically, when he comes out in these looks. Now, we've seen him drop. We have seen him drop in his zone, so I can't say that for sure. But in this game, they did hit us in the red zone. They were at about our 12, and we put everybody on the line. We blitzed everybody, and they just threw a quick slant, picked up about 11 yards in a 1st down. But we have seen Aaron Glenn show this and then drop in his zone. So I won't say that. I won't say he's been predictable, but obviously you can get beat when you do things like this. Regardless, though, here worked out beautifully. Another I think 3-and-out. Regardless, we got off the field. Maybe that wasn't a 3-and-out. They may have gotten it first. Yeah, they got it first on that one, but we got off the field. What they've been looking to do, and we've seen what we've done against them. So this time they come out in the gun. They're going to bring Logan Thomas over to the right on this play. And we have seen the Lions be aggressive and blitz their linebackers. So it looks like they're like, all right, we've been going with the shots. Let's try to get something quick. Let's get our drive started without being, 0 yards. Let's get our drive started positively, not try to get the home run ball, because the Lions aren't letting that happen. So what do the Lions do? Well, they're going to get into a cover 1 here, which means that you have 2 linebackers. One's going to be in zone coverage. The other one can pick up the running back on this play. So you're going to go back into man coverage, and here we go. So safety slides down. Tracy, you trust him to hold that down versus the tight end. First things first is, again, what does Okudah do well? What does our corners do well? What is our advantage? Being physical off the line. So a couple things here. Lions are going to drop their linebackers in the zone. First thing you like is this inside slant. Okay, you can see how Mike Hughes is kind of going to be trying to funnel this back to the inside. So on this play, you like how Alex Anzalone, because the running back doesn't even go that way, sees the running back. He's comfortable with Malcolm. Hey, he's going to slide over and take that side down. He'll hold that down. I see a slant coming. They're going to run double slants here. So Alex is going to jump underneath this slot route. That's not there for them. Okay, so now you're looking to the outside receiver. And again, it looks like they're just trying to get positive yards on first down. You got man-to-man outside versus Okudah. But I think what throws it off, and you got to think, we've been bringing pressure. We've been getting at him a little bit. So the ball is probably going to get out relatively quick maybe. But it's Okudah off the line of scrimmage here. Look at him get a little physical with the receiver right there. It's not the cleanest thing, but you can see how the receivers not in a great spot. You can see how he's physical at the line, throws off the timing a little bit there. They picked up more yards here than I think what the Lions would be happy with on this play. But regardless, it was still a nice play, I think, by Isaiah Buggs on this play. I think it was a really good play. He shed the blockers, and he ended up getting involved in this tackle. Okay, now this time the ball's we ran towards Isaiah Buggs. So we talk about, Ali McNeil playing the 3, all those things. Well, what we noticed is the Lions, pretty much what they do with their 2 defensive tackles is they adjust them. They go from anywhere between, the 0 to the 3. So as you see on this play, where's Ali McNeil? He's outside shade of an offensive guard. There you go. He's in your 3. Okay, now this time Isaiah Buggs a little bit more on the inside of the guard, made more of a 2-eye here on this play. So what you're going to see is the ball's going to be ran towards him. You're going to get an outside zone. It could be you could argue this is a stretch, but it looks like more of an outside zone just based on how it goes. Regardless, though, you have Charles setting the edge this time. Okay, but watch Isaiah Buggs in the interior here. So here you go. A gaps right here, B gaps right here, and look at him. They're not only. There's not really movement there. I mean, there's a couple yards back maybe, but he sheds this time as they try to get to the linebacker. So now it's up to Isaiah Buggs to get in on this tackle, and he does. He kind of trips him up, limits the gain on that play, brings up a 3rd down. Wasn't the best rep, but it wasn't bad either. You still limited that run. Another sack from Hutchinson. This might be the 3rd one. This one is set up by John Kaminsky. Okay, you've probably heard of this one. You may have seen it, so we'll show it real quick. John Kaminsky really sets this up. His penetration upfield initially off the line takes the attention of the center. The center can't let him go, right? And then, of course, the guard really can't do anything with that because Aiden Hutchinson is lined over the guard. So the guard is paying attention to Hutchinson, but then Hutchinson breaks out because his agility is ridiculous. So we know that. So we know he's a nasty stunt player. So when you put him on the inside with Charles, now there's even more attention. All right, so the guard's paying attention to Hutchinson. Kaminsky gets off the line and penetrates, so now the center's got to deal with that, and it leads to Aiden Hutchinson being absolutely clean for a sack here. However, in coverage, I don't know if I'm right on this one or not, but to me, one thing it looked like the Lions were doing when they dropped the zone is that it looked like you can see the running backs on this side of the field. He's going to go out this way. It looked like because running back side was left side here, it looks like Will Harris, he's going to pass this off. He's going to drop this off in zone, almost more of a cover 2. On this side, however, there is no running back. Okay, Tracy Walker is going to drop back, and you can see that Jeff Okudah is going to carry his route with the tight end. He's going to carry this thing because there is no running back to deal with. This side, there is a running back to deal with. So if the running back runs into the flat, and Will Harris carries this thing, say, for example, upfield, or if he carries through here, then now the running back's going to have a lot of room to run. The linebackers have to try to catch up to him because they're dropping in depth for this over the middle dig route. So I think that's what happened. There's no running back on this side, so I think Okudah carries because of that. I could be wrong. It's just kind of what it looks like to me. Regardless, so you have the slot kind of dig. Look at Alex. He gets some good depth here. He's kind of just sitting in the way, and then Will Harris passes this off, and then, of course, you have the clean rush. So there you go, boom. I mean, to me, it just looks like the Lions are playing pretty sound in the secondary. I could be wrong, but it looks like they're playing sound, doing things like this. And again, it's just another one of those. There's a lot of movement going on, and just knowing your assignment. I mean, really, that's what it comes down to, because you can see where Wentz is looking. He's looking to the right side. Let's go back real quick. Look where Wentz is looking. He's looking on this right side of the field, okay? But Okudah, again, is going to carry with the tight end on this play. He's going to carry the tight end on this play, and this is a 2nd and 10. They just had an incomplete pass. So they're looking for some yards, I'm assuming. But then you also have the free rusher. There's really no shot. And Tracy's going to slide over and get over top. So really, Tracy Walker has that corner route over the top. Regardless, though, good sack, good play, get off the field. I didn't show all the third downs because like a lot of them were like 3rd and 17. They just checked it down. So here's kind of the last play I just talked about, right? I said, hey, look, I think the Lions are carrying when they have the running back on their side. I think they're dropping it off. So here's an example. This one looks like a cover 6 that the Lions are going to drop into on this play. But this is an example of a 40-yard pickup. But I don't think I can understand how it kind of happened, and I think it's actually sort of a heads-up play by Tracy Walker. It's just unfortunate kind of how it went down, but I think it's a heads-up play I do because it didn't leave anybody uncovered. So watch what I'm talking about. So in the slot, you got a tight end here, and Malcolm Rodriguez, they're playing zone coverage on this play. They're showing too high. So this is a 40-yard pickup that really set up their first score. So, and they also had a good kick return, I think, coming out of half, so that set them up really well as well. But watch this. So bottom of the screen here, Okudah's going to pass this off. They have a running back leak into the flat, and I think that's part of it because, of course, if he carries this upfield, then, well, you know, that doesn't really help you out, right? If he carries it upfield, the running back's going to be absolutely wide open. So he's going to have to drop this off, pass it off to his safety. However, on the top here, it looks like more of the cover 6, cover 4 look on this side because what you're going to see is Will Harris is going to carry upfield. Okay, he's going to stay on top of his route, right? He's not trying to let this get on top of him. That usually signifies, you know, that's kind of the quarters look that you're playing by the cornerback. And this safety, of course, is going to stay more inside. He's not going to get outside on top here. So here we go. Now watch this. Malcolm is dropping in his zone. He's getting on top of this tight end. Here's where the issue comes into play. Right there. The tight end runs him over. Okay, I don't think Malcolm was expecting that. He's probably like preparing to move. He ran him over. I don't know if that's legal. I mean, I don't know. I have no idea. I'm not going to. Either way, he ran him over. Here's kind of to me what happens on this play, the way that I see it. Okay, so because, you know, your outside quarterback in this case playing on top and Will Harris, you know that he's one-on-one. Now, he's would, you know, usually would have some sort of safety help, okay, unless this is another vertical route from the slot. So because Malcolm Rodriguez gets ran over here, now all of a sudden the tight end is completely uncovered. Because, again, you know, the cornerback's carrying, Will Harris is carrying. So there's no one out here that's going to help out. So this is going to be a wide open pass for Carson Wentz. So what does Tracy decide to do? Tracy says, okay, look, he's going to be one-on-one. He's got outside, but it's still one-on-one. I'm going to jump down, and I'm going to take away this tight end. That way it's not a wide open pass for Carson Wentz. Check it down, pick up 25 yards, and then we're chasing him. We don't have to worry about that. I'll slide down. I'm going to pick this up, not try to give him an easy first down. So he does that. I think it's kind of a heads-up play, kind of a smart play. That means that Will Harris is now one-on-one because of all of that happening. Because, again, if this guy doesn't fall down, this works out for the Lions. If Malcolm doesn't fall down and he doesn't throw the ball to the tight end, you're going to have a 2-on-1 over top. He's going to probably be forced to go elsewhere. But because he does, now all of a sudden you have Tracy dive down, and he's going to trust this one-on-one to the outside rather than a wide-open receiver. I like it. Also, Mike Hughes, my goodness. Is that Mike Hughes? It looked like Juju. Mike, you look at the depth Mike Hughes is getting here in zone coverage. Look at this. Look how much depth he's getting here to help out Okudah. I mean, he is on this like glue, man. There's no shot. So shout out to him. But it leads to a one-on-one, and then it's just, hey, look, Will may not even notice during the play that he doesn't have that inside help. So because that Will's playing on the outside, he gives up a big shot deep over top. You see Deshaun's upset, but I think it was a little bit of a heads-up play actually on that play. And again, they're not going to chip here, so the Lions do have a chance to get some pressure. Ooh, little hold. Either way, you can kind of see what happened on that. Talk about Will Harris being smart defensively. Well, we saw this a lot last year, so it really doesn't concern me. You already see the communication between safeties and corners on this play. So they're going to go with their play action rollout. And what you're going to see on this play is what you would expect. Everybody does seemingly what they're supposed to do. Tracy Walker jumps underneath, makes it like a cover 3 sky left. So what you're going to see is Tracy Walker is going to jump, take away this underneath route, the beneath route by the running back on this play. Malcolm Rodriguez is going to carry. Well, actually, Alex is going to end up carrying. He's going to pass it off to Alex. Again, they're just fine. They're communicating without even communicating. He's going to pass that off. So now Malcolm can rush the quarterback. And then it's about the back end, right? Deep crosser. What did we say? Usually it's like impossible to cover a guy running completely across the field in a deep cross. So Will does what he does. As soon as he recognizes it already, he's like, hey, pass that off. So now Elliott has a ton of time because you got to think Carson's going to start here and then he's going to work his way upfield through his progressions. So now Elliott jumps over top, takes that pass away. It can allow, I think, Okudah to play on this side, can play the leverage of this side, and they can kind of bracket this in because Okudah doesn't have to worry about trying to get and protect this side of the field because Will Harris is going to jump on that side. So now you basically bracket McLaurin downfield. Lions pass everything off really well. Great coverage, thrown out of bounds. Awesome. Love to see it. And what did I say earlier? we didn't see a lot of Chris Board covering the backfield. Now, I think this is something that probably should have been recognized, like, hey, wait a minute, this ain't the running back. That's Curtis Samuel in the backfield, not a running back. They may have seen that, but that's something I would think you'd be like, wait a minute, that's probably something they're trying to do to us. Putting the running back out here and putting the receiver in the backfield is something specific. So what did they do? They said, hey, look, Chris Board is usually blitzing. Maybe he'll drop to some sort of, zone coverage, but he's not really picking up the back. So they take advantage of that. What we've seen, Lions show blitz, 5 across. Charles Harris is going to drop out. The issue here is that Charles Harris drops out. Seemed like there wasn't much recognition that, this is Curtis Samuel, not a running back running into the flats. And now you have Charles Harris trying to cover a wide receiver. It's not going to happen. It's just not going to happen. He just runs right by him. And to make matters even worse is that they have a great play design at the top here by McLaurin to basically cut off Deshaun Elliott. They cut him off and make it really tough for him to get over top. You see how he sees it? But, because you see his running route. He's literally trying to get in the way of Deshaun Elliott, and it leads to a wide open throw. Elliott almost got over. I like Elliott, man. He plays fast. And he made him feel it too. I like he looked at it. He made him feel it. He said, "You might have caught a touchdown. You caught a lick though, dude. You know what I'm saying?" He made him feel that touchdown. But oh my goodness, he knocked his mouthpiece out. We saw in the first half they are trying to take shots first down. Now they come out in the gun again in this play. So let's take a look at how this ends up happening. We have an 18-yard completion. Lions are going to bring a man blitz, and you're going to get a deep cross here from the slot. Is Terry in the slot? And it's like we said, it's very difficult to cover this. And he's going to run a deep cross. He's got to try to cover him across the field is difficult. So you're going man blitz. You would expect there to be some pressure because there was pressure in the first half. Difference is there is no pressure here. So what is a difference that they did? Well, first thing is, okay, obviously they put the tight end on him, but then they also pull their offensive lineman across. And also you see Tracy is an immediate blitzing, so it does allow the offensive line a little bit of chance to set and then take care of Tracy Walker, and that allows this pulling offensive lineman to not have to deal with Tracy and leave Hutchinson one-on-one. So they get kind of a 2-on-1, unfortunately for us, and good for them. Aiden Hutchinson is now 2-on-1. You can see kind of a quick set here from Charles. He doesn't win his one-on-one. I love to see Malcolm picking up basically an offensive lineman and driving him back into the pocket, but the Lions just don't get home soon enough. They pick it up much better, and it's a one-on-one that Hughes is trying to chase down. Hughes is good. He's way better in man coverage, I think, than, AJ was last season. No shots at AJ. I just think he's good in man coverage. But this is a play that's just really tough for that guy to handle with one deep safety. And shout out to Carson Wentz really staying poised in the pocket and delivering that pass. Here is one of those outside runs. We've been doing really good against it. Stretch runs, things like that. This one goes for 8. Malcolm actually is going to run into the tight end on this play. So as you're going to see here, tight end's going to come over. Let's actually get the other angle of this so you can see what I'm kind of talking about. So they actually have a receiver on this side. First half, they didn't do that. Remember, they didn't have a receiver over here, so Will was able to sit down and really kind of contain. Well, this time, they're going to run him off a little bit, and then he's going to start to block. So now it makes it much tougher on Will Harris to try to basically force this thing back inside. Okay, I'm messing up here with my clip. Oh, we are on a completely different play. Go back. Oh, my goodness. Go back. Right. And they're also going single back here. They bring the tight end over. Okay, so our safety's got to get out here and force, right? He's got to get out here, but Lions are dropping him, so it's way tougher for Lions to get out there. Now you start to look at, I think, at your linebackers to say, hey, they're going to have to help force inside because they put that tight end over. Now all of a sudden our tight end is on the outside of our edge rusher. So now this linebacker Malcolm has to get out there, and unfortunately he actually runs into the blocker. Didn't even see it. We saw this earlier, right? He's kind of scraped down. He actually runs into him. If he was a little bit wider, he probably would have got there. He just ran into him. Got out there just a little late, and we weren't able to really close it up like we were before. Just a nice little tweak that they made, I think, to pick up 8 yards on that play. But we are going to go too deep on this play once again, and it looks like the Lions are going to drop to zone coverage on this play. So here we go. You can see zone coverage. I love the depth that our linebackers get in coverage, which I think is huge. And as fast as this gets a little high on Wentz. We said it coming into the game. Hey, Wentz, when he misses high. Passes sail, especially with pressure. In this case, pass did not sail. Well, it did sail, and there wasn't really pressure, but I also think part of that was the depth that our linebackers had. He's like, I got to get it over to linebackers. Throws it high off Thomas's hands, off of Tracy's hands, and into the hands of Will Harris. Great heads-up play. I think Will Harris played a heck of a game. I do. Will Harris played a heck of a game. The more and more I think about it, he's playing a great game. This one, we won't spend much time. It's another one of the shot plays again on Mike Hughes here, and you can see the communication pre-snap. Lions are going to go to a cover 3, so I think Mike Hughes is kind of already like, hey, I'm picking this up, right? We got 2-on-1. The seams are usually an issue, so they go 2-by-1. That's a tough spot for us. So I'm going to carry this slot receiver, and it's a very similar situation, right? He's trying to carry a guy across the field, tries to get himself in position, gets flipped around a little bit. Elliott, because of the eyes of the quarterback, because of the zone coverage, and look at our cornerbacks are playing outside leverage, right? and Elliott gets moved by Carson Wentz's eyes with the 2 deep routes here. He's getting pulled out here, and now they come back with a one-on-one. They got the matchup that they want. They get off the pass, good pass protection. They get the shot play. So you can see, I don't think it's a breakdown. I think it's just a good play by the offense. I think it's some of that, and the Lions didn't get pressure. Here's the difference, though. What do we see in the first half? Tight end just took off in the first half clean. He ain't going to do that. He said, yeah, let's slow down Hutch. So I'm going to chip Hutch immediately off the line. Boom. Now, Hutch is prepared for it. He don't get ran over like Hockenson ran him over. He's prepared for that, but he gets chipped. It stops his rush, and now you're putting emphasis on everybody else. You got to be able to win. Plus, the Lions aren't blitzing right here, so that's another big difference. But it's still, Charles, you got a one-on-one. We'd like to see you win there. He gets out wide, makes it really tough, covers up the edge there, and they know the chip's coming on this side. We're not winning on the interior here. Banks wins late, but again, they get the shot that they want, and now they're just getting a couple of those to go. Much that you have to pay attention to when a team runs a leak route, and that's what they do on this play. So basically what this is Curtis Samuel's going to kind of just, St. Brown did the same thing last year, sort of, where you kind of just walk through like you're going to block, and then all of a sudden, boom, he wraps up here like a wheel route, runs this leak route. So first thing that I notice on this play is the little things, the little short in motion that they use. So when they motion him in, I think it sets up a lot here, because if this play was wider, let's say they run the leak from here, if they try to, would not work, I don't think, because you're in zone coverage defensively. Mike Hughes and it may be able to pick this up a lot faster because they motion him in and Mike Hughes follows it in. Now he's focused. He's got an emphasis on this run game. Okay, so you're going to run a split zone fake. So now he's focused on the run game. He understands that he's in zone as well. So he feels like he probably could recover because the run's going this way. So if it's a bootleg, hey, look, I can recover. And that's what he realizes. Also, his receiver Samuel is just walking like he's blocking or cracking down on Hutchinson here. So he's thinking, all right, let me just get back. Well, Curtis Samuel, good job of faking it. I love the little in motion, little tweak there they used. And now the Lions in zone coverage. Boom, boom, boom. Okay, Will Harris underneath in zone coverage. No one even sees Curtis Samuel just break free. The only receiver Will Harris had to deal with on his side already broke to the middle of the field. So now he's focused on the running back, and he can see the running back coming out of the backfield without the ball. So now he's like, okay, there's no weapon over here. He's not going to be dropping and getting depth. He's not paying any attention to the guy that just came across the field. There is no communication there on this leak route. So he's not getting any depth. And now you also have the safeties who are paying attention to this receiver that's breaking towards the middle of the field, not this little leak route in there until it's too late. And he gets a huge chunk, 27 yards. That is a great play design. It's a great play design to kind of do some things against us here in the second half. It's just a really good play design against the Lions here, and kind of taking advantage of some of our zone coverage, honestly, a little bit, but skipped a couple plays. I want to show this one. I guess I completely skipped the play. Let's give Malcolm Rodriguez some love. He was playing great, and I think we need to take our time out to just give him a little bit of love. So here we go. Watch Malcolm on display again. Balls ran towards him. I thought he was great. I thought he was great in this game when doing that. I think they do these little motions trying to get the linebackers to move and just kind of pay attention to that. We talked about all this motion that does nothing, and you want to talk, Aaron Glenn said exactly what was going to happen. They've done this multiple times now. He said, look, they'll do these fast motions, not really this one, but they'll do these motions, and then all of a sudden they'll just run an outside zone. What do they run on this play? Oh, an outside zone. Okay, well, hey, that's exactly what he said. So now it's on the linebackers to be disciplined. They're disciplined at sack. They're not even paying attention. They are paying attention, but they're not being, thrown off by that. And Malcolm Rodriguez just does something absolutely ridiculous, okay? First off, penetration by Banks, awesome. Secondly, Charles Harris setting the edge and forcing this back inside. Smash up on a tackle, so well done there. But outside zone, right? They're trying to hit up here, right in the B gap usually. So watch Malcolm Rodriguez just shut this down, and then Alex again can kind of scrape out behind if he needs to. Look at this. Free lineman. What? He gets out there, dodges it, and makes the tackle. That is an awesome play by Malcolm. And again, it looks just how fast he reads this stuff. He is locked in. He's played a lot of football. Look at this. Okay, boom. He's gone. He is gone. And he's like, okay, dip, get out of here. Boom. Come on, Malcolm. You need to stop. I'm telling you, this dude's balling right now. This dude is balling right now. It's an example of basically taking two gaps, I think. So A gap, B gap. Watch Lee McNeil. Ball's going to be ran towards him again. Another one of these motions. And I'm sure there's many reasons they're doing this, but from what we already know about this motion, first thing, it's changing the safeties, right? So now all of a sudden, Tracy's coming down to the side of the tight end, to the strong side. So Deshaun's going to back out, which stresses Aiden Hutchinson, who is on the play side, that he has to set a hard edge if the ball's ran that direction. It also forces Malcolm Rodriguez to get more to the strong side where the tight end now is, because the run does go that way. He needs to be able to get to the outside, as we saw in an earlier clip, where I think it'll come up soon, where he needs to be able to get to the outside so that edge rusher can crash inside. Watch Aleem. So he jumps into the A gap. All right, and again, it's another one of these zone runs. Don't do us like, you know what, I'm going to have to go back because it's not going to show us. I'm going to have to show you like this. I'm sorry, but that's what we're going to have to do. So he's going to jump into the A. Watch this, jump there, okay? But he doesn't get moved. The dude is like an absolute rock when the balls ran towards him. So look at this. Look at this. Double team, and then he can get up to the linebacker. You can't get up to the linebacker if Aleem doesn't move. He doesn't move at all, and now it's Hutchinson. Set the edge. That is a nasty edge set by Hutchinson. So now you're forced. You got to go upfield. Okay. Let's see what Aleem does. No movement. He is an absolute rock in the interior. Look at this guy. I mean, this is awesome. Aleem does not get moved. Boom. There's no movement there. So now the lineman can get to the second level, but hey, your running back's got nowhere to go because Hutch shut down the edge. Aleem's got penetration. Now it's about the cutback, and this is where we talk about what they said this week they're going to have to do for Delvin is maybe sit in their gaps a little bit longer because of the cutback opportunities that Delvin Cook presents. So you look at these guys in the backside that have to be disciplined. Well, there's a cut block here that gets Julian on the ground, but he gets back up. Great recovery there. Awesome recovery and shuts down the run. I think they got 1 yard on that play. Take a look at it. Let's let it run one time, and then I'll show you kind of what I'm thinking with this one, okay? One thing we have seen, again, right, look where the running back is. Let's start there. We have seen running back on this side, so Okudah may carry. We've seen a lot of that, right? Okay, and that's what we're going to see here. Also, the receivers are staggered differently. Okudah's receiver that he's on the outside is up on the line of scrimmage. Will Harris's is off the line of scrimmage. The outside, the one on this side is off the line. His is on the line. So that's a difference as well. So you're going to get this two deep safety zone coverage look defensively. Now, I believe that this may be a cover two, maybe. Regardless, it's a cover two, cover four, it's one of the two. The point is on this play, and it kind of looks like a cover two to me. It looks like a cover two to me, I think. But either way, they're inside tight. Okay, now Okudah's guy is going to release vertical. He's going to stem up the field. Okay, so he's going to end up carrying this route, which we have seen. So Washington, great job by them taking advantage of this. They know running backs on this side will probably drop this off as he does here. Also, the difference is that his receiver on the outside is going underneath. This guy's going underneath. Okay, so now he doesn't have to worry about that. He can pass that off. Now he's got to help over top. The difference is on this side, Okudah's got to carry it because his guy is getting upfield. He's got to carry this route. So he carries it. Now all of a sudden it puts Malcolm Rodriguez in a one-on-one against Logan, which really shouldn't be the case, but that's the matchup they create. And to make it even tougher, now they're starting to make it tough on the safeties here, okay? First off, when you do these releases off the line in this coverage, defensively you're thinking a couple things. You already have some routes. So watch kind of the release off the line. Inside, then up. Watch this. Inside, up. Okay, now immediately you have this guy on the outside thinking corner route, or you got him potentially thinking dig route. Those are the two you're kind of thinking. So he's leaning, he's thinking corner, he's thinking corner. So he's like, all right, I'm going to get on top of the corner route. But because of that, now all of a sudden you got 2-on-1 and you got a 1-on-1 with Malcolm. There's no shot really that he's going to be able to cover this. And to Thomas's credit, they kind of wrap him around. They don't just run him vertical, they kind of run him as a seam. So they get him in a tough spot where now he's kind of creating that space where Elliott's not going to immediately jump over here and be like, oh, I got to get in there. He sticks on the outside, so Elliott's like, I got two, I got them both. And then when he wraps back around, Elliott's in no man's land. On the top of the screen here, basically you put Tracy Walker on top of a route where it becomes 1-on-1. Okay, why? Let's take a look. I think a big part of that is how they run the route. This guy jumps inside, and he's not the, like if this is the outside vertical guy, Will may carry this. The difference is his guy is underneath. So now he's behind and he's trailing Sims, I believe this is. So now he's on the outside, but he's behind the route. So I think they would rather have Tracy Walker sit a little bit and lean inside leverage. That way, if this pass goes here, he has a better shot on it, and you could possibly help on a Logan. And I think that's why Deshaun Elliott was upset, because he's like, dude, why in the world did you give up the inside? You can see him after that. But regardless, I think it's also a heck of a play design, and I think they beat our coverage on that play. A cover 4 blitz, you don't see that a lot. I liked this, so we talk about how I think, coordinators kind of throwing jabs at each other, back and forth. Here we go. So the Lions, now they give you a blitz from a spot that you can't really expect it. And what is that? That's a slot cornerback blitz. Mike Hughes really doesn't show it. He brings a slot cornerback blitz. So as you continue to set this tight end into Chip Hutchinson, you don't really have any tell to be like, well, he's coming, right? They were showing it earlier. They showed 5 rushers and they can chip him. This play, you don't see that. So Mike Hughes is going to blitz off the slot here. Tight end sees it late. Now you have a little bit more of an opportunity for some pressure, and that's what it is. I like to see Mike maybe more so make the play, but what it does is it gives you pressure off of this side, which opens up Julian Okwara to get pressure on the backside, and you can see it. It's late, but he gets a little bit. Regardless, though, I just think it's good because it was kind of a throw-off. Usually don't expect in this coverage, I don't think, you to get a slot cornerback blitz, but that's what he did. Both cornerbacks open up in like a cover 4 here. And also, the depth of Malcolm Rodriguez is look how deep he is getting in this. There's no window here. Absolutely no window for Carson Wentz to try to put this above Malcolm. Malcolm's not the tallest guy, so he needs to make sure that he gets depth. And in this play, he gets adequate depth. There's nowhere to put the ball. And also, you could see Alex gets pretty good depth as well. Safeties get over top, and they get pressure, and he basically just throws this up. Almost got a pick by Malcolm on this play. Another great run defensive rep. Why not? We got to take a look at them, right? They're awesome. Okay, Hutchinson on the backside here against the tight end. He's going to do what Hutchinson does. We'll take a look at him. Immediate off the line. Shed. There you go. I'm back there to help you make a tackle. But then also watch where the ball is ran toward. That might look at his thigh. His thigh look a little messed up right there. Here's the ball ran towards. This time it's on Isaiah Buggs. That's where the ball is going to be going. And you see Lee McNeil. Look, you see how he just stopped movement completely? So as he does that and are not getting upfield, linebackers can continue to work downhill because there's no movement upfield, right? And if the offensive linemen just say, okay, you know what, I'm not blocking him, I'm going to the second level anyway. Now the defensive lineman is just standing in the running back's way. So because of the girth that they have, it's giving teams problems on all these, spread shotgun runs. Look at this. Look at Isaiah Buggs. There's no movement. He just plants and he shuts it down. Look at everybody squeeze up on the line. Hutchinson on the backside is going to shut that down all day, and he shut down the run. Is something that feels like a little bit of an adjustment to what we saw earlier, right? So what did we see earlier? Okay, now this time they're putting a receiver wide. So it's going to be difficult for Will Harris to try to force this back inside. So I think the Lions changed it up. They have Hutchinson jump into basically like the B gap, and it allows Malcolm to get to the outside here without tight end help. It almost what it feels like the Lions adjusted a little bit to what we saw a little bit earlier. So instead of having Aiden try to set, instead he's going to jump inside, take the attention of the tackle inside, pull him inside. Now Malcolm immediately can diagnose it, sees the stretch. They've been doing these outside runs, so you got to have a plan for it. Malcolm says, let me get out there, let me avoid the blocker, and let me make a tackle and pick up no gain on this play. Or maybe they got a yard on that play. But it felt like a little bit of an adjustment there from the Lions just on how they wanted to approach this with 4 down linemen. And, of course, Buggs just keeps working. He also gets into it. But to me, that's Malcolm just being outstanding again. I won't spend too much time on this. This is kind of just this is just reverse, right? It's at the end of the game. Well, not the end of the game. There's about 11 minutes left at this point. But they hit us with reverse on this play. I love to see the penetration. Banks gets upfield. Like, this dude can really push the pocket. And I love that he's getting opportunities from, like, a 1. Look at this. Oh, my gosh. Like, he almost got in on this play from just taking the lineman back with him. He almost got in on this reverse, which is insane. But this makes me kind of think of, like, hey, cut back lanes. We got to be a little bit in our gaps a little bit longer. Charles starts to see it flow when he takes off. Now there's no one here for the outside help. And you got kind of a lead blocker in Wentz. But regardless, he kind of left it earlier with the flow of the play. Here was the example that I was talking about. Just throw it in here quick of the Lions kind of showing everybody, putting everybody on the sticks. Well, Washington had answers. This would have been a great time for, I think, the Lions to drop out. But they don't. The Lions bring the blitz, and everybody's playing on the stick, so they just run like a quick underneath slant, and they pick up about 11 yards. It's just a good play. This has happened to us in the past. Something that I would definitely look for. And we'll skip ahead a little bit more to show. This was the final drive, well, second to last drive, but the Lions did a great job. Start with 7 minutes. Had them under the 2-minute warning before they scored a touchdown. I think that's as good as you can do. And every pass on this drive was literally a check down or a scramble. There was nothing over top the Lions allowed. 2 deep safeties. Look at Alex on this play. I mean, he's shutting down this dig route. He absolutely cut that dig route off. Said, nope, not here. That ain't going to happen. Malcolm underneath, he passes it off to Bobby Price, who's dropping in his zone. Lions went to a lot of zone without Okudah, it felt like. But look at Alex. Awesome drop. Love to see it. Safety's doing their job. And then, of course, Bobby Price gets over here. It's a missed pass anyway, and he forced an incomplete pass. But I just thought, that was a cool little play by Alex Anzalone. So anyways, that was some of the Lions defensive clips. Obviously, it was a very nice defensive game, but I think the biggest thing I wanted to show, he can't get over top, so he has to check it down, is that the Lions feel like they're playing very, very sound together. But there have been times where they have been beaten on certain routes. There have been times where certain designs have gotten them, and they'll learn from it. And I think you're really getting a sense of sort of what the Lions are becoming defensively and where certain guys like to be utilized. But you got to watch for that because teams will take advantage of when Chris Board's on the field. They like to do this. When this is there, they like to do this. But I also like the fact that the Lions seem to schematically scheme up for what an opponent's tendencies are. And for the first half, the Lions felt like they were ahead of Washington in every way. In the second half, Washington started to fight back and say, hey, we got a couple things for you from what we saw. So they made some good halftime adjustments. I think this was legitimate halftime adjustments. And then again, the Lions came back and tweaked a little bit more as the second half was going on to kind of adjust to how they were adjusting to them in the first half. Let me know your thoughts, comments below. Thank you, Prop, for watching. Lions, Vikings, Sunday. I don't know where I'm going with this. I about said so. Let's get started. And I'm out.